tell you my story for those of you who don't know, because everything that I say pretty much comes from this story. At the heart of me is someone who has darkness and also has light. And a lot of that is informed by my surviving the death of my daughter. My daughter Michelle was 23 years old. She had my grandson, her son Ashton. She had a partner, Barry, and she died from a heroin overdose when Ashton was 2. It was 2 weeks before his 2nd birthday. And the reactions that I get from people when I tell them this range from, well, she used heroin, of course she's going to die, and not a whole lot of empathy and sympathy and love and compassion, to, oh my God, how can you be walking through your days and succeeding in life in the ways that you are and thriving in the ways that you are. And all I can say is grief is a journey that changes all the time. And I survive and thrive because I'm allowing this journey. It's a part of me. It's become part of the fiber of who I am. It's not the blanket that covers me and I can't breathe through it like I felt at the beginning of my grief process after Michelle died. It's not a heavy blanket like that. It's now just part of the fiber of the tapestry of my life. It's part of who I am and how I breathe. And there are other parts that make up the tapestry too. And I have lots of stories about grieving the loss of Michelle, grieving the loss of friends. It was a hard year this past year. And then 6 months later, lost Barry, Ashton's dad, my son-in-law. And it's not just that people die, it's also the way that people die that can affect us. Those of us who survive it are still living without them. So Michelle died from a heroin overdose, and that's harder, I think, to deal with that, because there's then some other kinds of deaths, because there's an element of, she didn't have to die that way. There's an element of that feeling to it. A lot of people, I think, have an underlying feeling like that was a choice for her, even though I don't necessarily know that addiction leaves you with a choice. And Barry took his own life, which was a definite choice, which, again, is a hard way to have somebody die and grieve the loss of that. There are a lot of fibers to, a lot of threads to dealing with, oh, why Why did he take his life? How could I not have prevented it? How did I not, I didn't say the right things. I wasn't there at the right time. There's so many threads to dealing with having someone close take their own life. For survivors, there are a lot of threads to deal with. And I can talk a lot about grieving. But right now I just wanted to introduce grieving as a big umbrella that I'm under, and understand from the perspective of the loss of my daughter, the loss of friends, the loss of my mom, different kind of grieving, different kind of death. Having my grandson lose both of his parents and being the person who supports him through that. I just want to introduce myself as that person who grieves with that umbrella over my head and those different fringe threads that are coming down from the umbrella that I walk through and touch. So I'll talk more about grief in different videos. And thanks for listening.